My name is Jan Marler, and I'm the Touch 500 consultant for the Northern Kentucky Baptist Association. I was contracted in January of 2014 to work with a team of children's ministers to help this association reach a goal of baptizing 500 children within 3 years. We've worked hard. We started out by supplying the library that was outdated at the association office with resources that churches could share. We have information on helping children understand salvation, on leadership development. There's curriculum and VBS, Sunday school, ZIP, Team Kid, things that our churches can share to use to reach boys and girls for Christ. We also began to discover needs and common issues that our children's ministry shared throughout the association. We provided training events for how to guide a child to know about Christ and counsel them towards salvation. We provided lots of activities that we got involved in, like training sessions. We did street fairs. We helped with mission VBSs. We did things like helping with the MAC Center and the missions fairs. We shared childcare. I've worked to help churches on a one-on-one basis. I've done spacewalks. We've helped churches to evaluate their ministries and prioritize what they needed to do. I've mentored and counseled and coached with many children's ministers in our area. But what I really want to share with you today is from my heart. My observation has been that our churches do a pretty good job of reaching out to children and their families. Oh, we can put on a great VBS. We can do a back-to-school event. We do camps. We do Easter egg hunts and children's choir programs, fall festivals. We can do it all. Our challenge is keeping children and their families. We have had problems with not reaching them, but keeping them. It seems we have failed to get our house in order for company. For many, as they come in, our churches would be in a tailspin if even a few of the children that we reached at an event showed up on Sunday morning. We're just not ready for them. In the book, Transforming Children into Spiritual Champions, George Barna shares a lot of statistics. In fact, pastors, if you're going to choose one book to read between now and Christmas, this is the book you'll want to choose. George Barna shares in there that the probability of someone embracing Jesus as their Savior between the ages of 5 and 12, that statistic is 32%. But for those students ages 13 to 18, that number goes down to 4%. For adults ages 19 and older, the number is 6% that they are likely to become a Christian. If you really want to grow your church or impact the kingdom, here are my suggestions. Number one, put your focus, your time, your money, your leadership into children's ministry. And number two, provide ministries for young parents. You know, quality Bible study is what young parents are desiring and longing for. They need training when it comes to money management, parenting tips. They're looking out churches that can help them provide a family-friendly kind of activity. So let me give you some suggestions on how to grow a children's ministry, especially in our world where we live in such a think outside of the box kind of society. We're trying to reinvent the wheel at any cost. But you know, a wheel is still a wheel, and it needs to have that structure. And here are 4 keys to developing an effective, growing children's ministry that needs to stay inside that box. Number 1 is we need to develop a philosophy of ministry. With your children's leaders, put 4 tear sheets up on the wall and write on them. Number 1, how do children learn? Number 2, what do children need? Number 3, Who should work with children? And number 4, what do we believe about families? Have your leaders write all over these and fill this in. This becomes a document that you filter every decision through when it comes to children's ministry. When you choose curriculum, you say, what do children need? How do they grow? How do they learn? All of those things come through that filter of your philosophy of ministry. And you go back to it every time you make a decision. Number 2 is your organization. It has to be built so that your church can grow and that children can learn. In other words, the size of your classrooms, the location, the environment for learning, its cleanliness. How many children and leaders are in each of those rooms? Is there room for growth? Is it set up so children can move around and have open space and small group space? How are your children age graded? Those are the kinds of things that need to be considered when you build an organization for children and for growth. Number 3 is leadership. Are your leaders trained? Are they screened? Do we hold leaders accountable? How do you minister to leaders? Do you provide curriculum and supplies that they need? Number 4 is ministry. And when I say ministry, I mean a process by which we do ministry. For those both inside your church and outside your church. Is there a plan in place for when a first-time guest comes to visit? Who are they assigned to for a follow-up to make sure it happens and doesn't slip through the cracks? How are they greeted? How do you get information? These are all important things in developing a growing, healthy children's ministry. You know, that great theologian, football coach, Vince Lombardi, he put it this way: perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. Provide the best preschool and children's ministry you possibly can. You know, now that ball is in your court. You've been coached, you've been mentored, you've been evaluated, and you've been trained. Reaching children in your community, it's up to you. Let's go reach families.